Aloha and welcome back to another video. This is the next episode of this ever-growing and seemingly never-ending series of my humble comic book collection. That's the key term. Welcome back. And today we're going to be covering licensed properties. I inherited a number of comics and digests, which I'll show off after I get through the single issues. And most of these I inherited, not all, but most of which I have. And these are, licensed properties, children's comics that are, despite what some want to say, Marvel and DC, well, they try to appeal to children for, decades, right? Decades worth of their comics, mostly from the Golden, Silver Age, and even a lot of the Bronze Age, they were trying to appeal to also children. Eventually, it kind of became all ages, and then more mature later on for some series, but I'm talking about directly children's comics. Licensed properties, I think is just what I'm going to call the episode. I don't know for sure. And starting off, I'm trying to organize these alphabetically, try to organize these chronologically in terms of when they came out. So starting off, we have missing the cover, right? This is just going to be for total fun. I don't know who's going to actually see these and be like, oh, I'm gonna go buy that. But this is the 17th issue of Looney Tunes series from 1977. Bugs Bunny, the Rumor Rabbit is the name of the issue. So from what I can tell, it's just Looney Tunes issue 17, I guess. Is this volume 1? I'm assuming this is volume 1. I inherited this one from my mother. Here's a fun, one of those fun ads, Hostess ads. It looks like it's Hostess, but I don't see there's the Hostess brand. So Marvel quite often Marvel characters were featured in Hostess ads oftentimes because of a brand deal that went on, and this brand deal stretched decades. It went on for quite a while, and there's a lot of issues I have, quite a few from the 70s, the 80s, and possibly some that I've seen from the 60s, I guess. Do I own any comics from the 60s? I don't know if I own any physically from the 60s. I don't think I do. But it ran for decades. And I could actually do a whole video on that. Maybe I could do some history, talk about the history briefly and show off a bunch of ads or something. I don't know. That might be fun. If that sounds interesting, definitely tell me in the comment section below. But there you go. And I remember reading it ages ago, but I can't tell you what it's about. It doesn't really matter in particular. But I inherited this from my mother, and you can tell that it was loved, very well loved, because it's not in the best condition, but that doesn't matter. A lot of these she got because she wasn't a big comic reader, but most of the things that she did get most of the things she did get that she later on gave to me, she always got when she was sick. So, when she was sick, her father would come home and bring her, a few comics that he got on his way back from work, and that would be what she read while she was sick and did to pass the time because she couldn't go out and play. So just wanted to pass that on to you guys. And here's Harvey Comics and a bunch of stories, it looks like, as far as I remember, from Harvey Comics. This is 1974. So this one also, as you can tell, is in pretty beaten condition, but that's how you know it was loved. We got Casper and Richie Rich. Is the whole thing Casper and Richie Rich? It looks like it. So there you go. I don't know. It looks like it might be multiple stories. Yeah, it looks like it's multiple stories there. So there you go. And next up we have... we have a bunch of Walt Disney stuff that she got. And these seem to be in a bit better condition. I kind of wonder why. Some of these were a few years after this, so I wonder if by this time in her comic reading life she just took better care of them or something. But here we have Donald Duck. This is issue 199 from 1978. And here we have Scrooge McDuck, as you can see, and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And dang train. Okay, it seems as if that dang train is gone. It's the antagonist of this video series. Because I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in a few episodes ago. That it drives me nuts. Man, it's the antagonist of this series. It really is. So here we have, various Donald Duck characters in this issue here. I don't really want to go through too much of this. But it is what it is, right? You can tell that it's somewhat crudely animated. crudely animated, crudely drawn in certain ways. It's missing a lot of background elements, just detail, period. But it's by Whitman. Whitman seemed to have, from both this and from what I Googled, seemed to have really dominated the children's licensed property comic arena space. I almost wonder if they, I don't know, I almost wonder if they had some kind of special deal where, like, they had the exclusive rights to publish certain properties for an extended period of time in the comic medium. I'm not sure exactly. And here we have Sylvester and Tweety. This is definitely cool. And so they had the Warner Brothers and they had Disney under their wing. So definitely, again, seem to have, both from this and from what I've looked up, they seem to have really dominated. And again, it's crudely done. It seemed like it was kind of rushed, but it's for children, right? And what's interesting is how big the text is. I thought that was kind of something to note. I imagine, again, it's because of the reading audience that would be reading this. But here's another funny Marvel and Hostess ad. The other company that really dominated all of this was Gold Key. I think it was Golden Key. Do I have that here? Let me double check the name here. I think that's. I don't have them right here. I'll put something on screen to make sure I'm saying the name right. But I think it was Golden Key or Gold Lock and Key or something. Cool little advertisement for Star Wars wristwatches. And by this point, we were at, like, what is it, 79? 78. Okay, Star Wars was pretty new then. Geez, but I keep going to the wrong section. And next up, we have more. Again, I tried to order it in terms of when these issues came out, as opposed to the property, because I have so little of each property that it wouldn't really, fill out too well. So here we have Daisy and Donald, not just Donald Duck like the last one here, or the 2 comics ago. Last Disney comic was just Donald Duck. Here we have Daisy and Donald. So let's look on the inside here and see if it's in its own series. Yeah, Daisy and Donald issue 41. So that was its own complete series, and that was from 1979. And again, following the very similar formula. I don't really think I need to flip through it. Next up, we have Huey, Dewey, and Louie. We have a few of those. Yeah, we got 2 of those to go through. Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Junior Woodchucks. I wonder if that's part of the series branding as well, I guess. Yeah, it is. Okay. Issue 68. Man, it's funny how plenty of these series ran longer than series run nowadays, right? You would think that a kid's series that features so specific characters, right? They had one for Donald Duck, it looks like, one for Donald Duck and whatever the female Donald Duck is. I don't know. I don't particularly care. Daisy Duck. Yeah, you had one for Daisy Duck and Donald Duck. You had one just for Donald Duck, and you have one for the Hellions. What are they? Huey, Dewey, and Louie. That's crazy, right? They spread themselves. You would think that would be spreading themselves thin. You would think that each series wouldn't be able to run for too long, but 68 issues. I mean, that's like the longest running Marvel series within the past 5 years, right? That's hilarious. Just shows you how far we've regressed or progressed, however you want to put it. I'd say it's regression, but some could argue otherwise. I like the colors there for sure, but again, it's still the simplistic art, but it's colorful for what it is. And that was 78, I believe. And 60. What is that? That was issue 68. Oh no, this was 81. This was 81 when this came out. It was issue 68. I don't know why I said 60. That wouldn't even make any sense. Now I don't know why I said that. Anyways, moving on to the next one here. The final Disney property we have here. This is issue 69. 69, and this is also 81 as well. So got 2 issues very close together. And that's that. Moving on, we have the last issue I have last single issue that I inherited, as far as I know. What's interesting is I'm still finding a few things here and there that I should have put in previous parts, but if I find anything else that needs to be in previous parts, I'm just going to say screw it and include it in the pickups. But I'm pretty sure this is all the older stuff that I have. I'm pretty sure that after, geez, really falling apart there, not even stapled in anymore. Well, that's okay. They are inherited after all. And again, you can tell that they were loved. This is from 1981. This is issue 135 of Daffy Duck. Not just Looney Tunes, no, Daffy Duck. So he had his own series. This is issue 135. It's just crazy. Again, comparing to how long series run nowadays. And there you go. Those are all, as far as I'm aware, all the single issues I inherited. And moving on, we have a few other single issue licensed properties that I picked up over the years. And then we'll move on to digest issues. So here we have a Bongo Free for All comics. This is a Simpsons kind of, it's ironic because as far as I remember, the plot of the issue, it's, about the obsession with comics. Despite and this being coming out on Free Comic Book Day, so kind of interesting there. And I'm pretty sure they had their own Simpsons series that they were doing at the time. If so, I'll put something on screen showing that that's the case. But yeah, it is what it is. Kind of a simplistic cover, but it's colorful for sure. I like that aspect of it. Next up, we have Popeye. I have a few of these. This is issue 1 of the Yo Yui comics, and these were, as far as I know, new stories that were done with using Popeye. They were drawn in kind of an old style, which was cool, and they were the actual condition of everything was quite good. You had it was on, what was it, brand new Popeye comics, specially written and drawn. Yeah. So there's new some comics in here. I don't know how many are new or if all of them are, but at least some of them were written specifically for this series. And it's done in the art style of classic, Popeye comics. So it fits quite well there. And it's on higher quality paper than what you'd get from the competition. And it's quite thick. So with all that in mind and me enjoying them, I enjoyed them for what they were. I'd say, yeah, these are worth searching out if you think this is something that would be interesting to you. But it's nothing spectacular. But there's quite a few stories, if I remember correctly. A good 3-4 stories, if not more, in here. It's quite thick, as you can tell. And it's what you'd expect. And you got a little ad there on the back. And see, it was only $4 back in the day. And some issues, I think this was right around the time when issues started moving to $4. So the fact that you got as much content as you did, a lot of which, if not all of which, was new, and on higher quality paper, that's a pretty good deal, if I can say so myself. And next up, I'll just put that to the side here. Next up, we have issue 5. I don't know how long this series went, but there you go. And then, is this the last? Yep, this is the last single issue. Then we'll move on to digest issues. This series won't be too long, or this episode probably won't be as long as the last episode, or as long as definitely previous episodes, right? One of them went on for 50 minutes. But this is the Owl was a character from the golden age of comics, if I remember correctly, and was kind of a wannabe Batman. And Dynamite Comics used this now, I believe it's in the public domain, picked up this public domain intellectual property and tried to make a new series out of it. And the series only ran for a handful of issues, but I remember really enjoying this issue back in the day. I only got this issue, but this issue I really enjoyed, right? I only read one issue, but it just really captivated me because it was like Batman, but it was different. It was a kind of more colorful, kind of more tonally unique Batman, and that's great, right? You can tell that it's not of this time, and the plot follows that as well, where he gets stuck in a kind of time warp, if I remember correctly. Yeah, from the golden age, and he gets brought into the modern age, and he basically has to deal with heroes and villains, as far as I know, villains that are far worse than those of the past, right? Trying to think of a quote here, but it doesn't matter. The point is that villains aren't like they used to be, and people change, and the world changed between both the past and the future, and it kind of almost is a commentary sort of on how comics have changed, along with how the world has changed and how that's affecting the Owl. And although it was only one issue, it did a really good job at captivating me from what I remember. Haven't read it in a number of years, but I kept rereading this over and over again. I just really enjoyed it. I love the kind of gritty modern look to it, mixed with flashbacks to the Golden Age, and a hero that is very much out of his norm. It's almost kind of like a Captain America kind of thing, where it's a hero from a bygone era being thrown into the modern era and needing to kind of change his morals, or have his morals be questioned, I should say, with kind of being questioned because of how far and how gruesome and violent crime has gotten nowadays, and being kind of shocked at how the world has changed. Very interesting. I should pick up the other issues. If I pick up the other issues, I'll definitely want to cover them for you. I could do a whole video on just the owl at one point. So if you want to see that, definitely tell me in the comments below. I always say that, but I never know what you guys want to see. So if you guys tell me what you want to see, then I can know what you want to see, and I can make those videos happen. Moving on, we're going to move on to digests that I have inherited. Moving on to digest issues, starting off, I tried to do this in chronological order, but anyways, here we have Dennis the Menace. Who, me? That's in frame, okay. I had more issues or digests that I inherited from my grandfather, but I can't find them. I don't know what happened. If I find them, I'll probably just do another video on them or something outside of this series. This series has gone on long enough. I gotta keep things moving here, but it's in black and white, and it's mostly just singular, pages that show, what would you say? Show the strips that would be in like a Sunday comic strip kind of thing, as far as I can tell. Yep. So similar almost to, what is it? The Far Side. That's what it reminds me of. Single page comic strip. Sunday comic strip like sequences on each page. So, definitely nice to have. I remember reading through this ages ago. I haven't in a long time. Just kind of wanted to show this off, though. And this was what did I say? Did I say the date? 1971, I believe. Only 95 cents, wherever paperbacks are sold. 71. So, yep, and then here we have the Archie stuff I'm getting into. This was my mother's, and I have such good memories of reading this in her car when we were driving about in the summertime. That's what I always kind of, I relate it to. This is from 1973. Yeah, 1973. And this is the first Archie Comics Digest, according to this at least. I'll see if there's if this is volume 1. If it's not volume 1, I'll put something on screen here saying, but it seems as if, it's the first Archie Digest, which is quite cool. And, it's colorful and everything. Some simplicity in the drawings, but it does its job quite well, and you can't not enjoy Archie. He's very, very much like the Peanuts characters, in the sense that they're kind of everymen that you can't, they're so easy to relate to. Each character kind of fits into an archetype of stereotypical, American stereotypes, I would say. So it's hard not to relate in ways. Jeez, look at that anger. And there you go. That's that. I don't have too much to say on that, but you also have, as you saw on the front, you have little Jinx involved as well. Some stories that are just Betty and Veronica, most of which are just about Archie himself, and you even have little puzzle pages in here. I'm surprised they weren't done, right? I'm surprised my mom, back when she was reading this when she was sick, I'm surprised she didn't, fill these out. I know she got the single issues when she was sick. I don't actually know when she got these, but hopefully you're enjoying this episode. This is a weird episode. We have Little Archie's Comic Digest. Oh, when was this? Did I say? Only 50 cents. Yeah, 1973. So this is the 8th digest in the Little Archie's series. So we jump forward quite a bit here. I'm doing this in chronological order, though, of what I have. So we'll go back to Archie in a minute. Or we'll go back to Archie's main series in a minute. This is Little Archie's, number 8 from 1981. 1981. And you can see that the art almost looks like it's gained detail slightly, possibly. But I'm pretty sure I've read through this, but don't exactly remember too much. Mostly I remember reading these, though, especially the first one I just showed you before, the first Archie Digest. I remember reading during the summer, and my mom serves legal papers, so she'd drive around, and in the back seat on a hot day, I'd sit back in the back seat and just read through it. And with the wind going through the windows and the birds chirping, I have good memories with all that, so wanted to share that. Here we have Laugh Comics Digest magazine. This is part of the Archie Digest library, as it says here, but different company, it looks like, that printed it. Quite gnarly looking cover in terms of, not because it's metal. No, because you got the folds there, you got the stain over there, but yeah, and interesting, the first page here is zoomed out. Is that the case for this as well? Not as much. So see, you compare the zoom level, whatever the size of the panels there on the first page versus the size of the panels here. Wonder why that's a little different. And the text is super small at the bottom, but it seems to be normal zoom length, normal comic panel size throughout the rest of the pages here. You got a betcha bite a chip. Betcha bite a chip with Chips Ahoy. So you got a little maze there as well. I'm surprised it wasn't filled out. This is from this is number 70. Geez, number 70. Let me see if that's the case. Looks like it. Yeah, number 70 from May of 1987. So wow, jump forward quite a bit, number of years. And this was a slimmer digest compared to the other ones, but again, you can tell that the art seems like it's progressed a little bit. I can't tell. It's so so similar between all of them, but I feel like the details a little bit cranked up, but mostly it's just that the art style seems slightly different. I can't tell exactly. It's very, very similar. Not too much to comment on. And then finally, we have a modern digest, 219. So it's, I don't know when the issues contained within this were released or when the content was created. But in terms of when this digest itself was printed, 219, that was 2016. Let me look here. 2013 for the advertisement. I don't know if I was able to find it before. Oh, it would be right there, 2014. And yeah, it's 219. Geez, 219 digests later we're at this one. And the color definitely is improved here, but I think that has partially to do with the printing, the way it's printed. It's also printed on newsprint kind of paper, but it's different enough where it feels slightly thicker and a little more smooth. Along with that, though, just printing quality nowadays is so much better, more consistent. Let's put it that way. Better. Better is subjective, but more brighter, right, and more detailed. We're able to print things on newsprint at much brighter colors without having things bleed through and so on. Able to digitally scan things on to paper. I believe these, from what I can tell, just art style wise, I'm going to take a guess. I'm trying to look for a copyright here. I'd take a guess and say that these stories were written later, but I'm pretty sure none of these are newly written stories. I'll put something on screen if I'm wrong about that. But there you go. That's it. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. I had to split this up into 2 parts, so in the recording, so don't know how long it is, but there you go. These are the digests I have. I showed you the single issues. Moving on past this, we have possibly one more part. Yeah, possibly one more part to go before we get to new pickups and possibly organization. I don't know. If you want to see something in particular in its own video, if you have any suggestions as to how to make this series better, definitely tell me in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and aloha.